Hey, good morning. We're sitting out here, gonna do a little maintenance on the redneck blind, and I wanted to do a quick little video of how we get in and out of our hunting locations. And um, if you guys have watched several of my other videos, one of my big strategies that I use is using creek systems or a ditch system or any kind of a water source. If you've got a water source, and you've got a canoe or a kayak, or you're able to wade in. That's awesome. Typically what I will do when I'm wading in, I've generally got a stick with me. That way I can, get that depth estimate. A lot of the ditches and the creek areas that I've crossed so many years that, I feel comfortable with it, but still, there could be something, that could have caused a slope, or maybe I went off to the left or to the right a little too far, and you just don't want to get yourself in that situation. Another thing that I'm known for is wearing waders, hip waders, to get in and out of there. So I try to make as much effort as I possibly can on entry and exit routes. I've also used boats, on some lake properties up in central Missouri. I've been able to harvest several good deer boating in on some public ground, and that's produced pretty good. And then, I'm always trying to keep that wind in perspective there, whether it's the entry, the exit, as well as the hunt. If I'm going into a hunting location and I don't have the right wind for even the entry or the exit, typically I'm actually bailing out and going to a different location. I've always got several different locations on each piece of property that I feel comfortable with, and on occasion, I may just sit up there in glass, if I find myself that I'm not able to enter or exit a particular stand or blind location, and just kind of educate myself with some deer movement and see how that works. But one thing I did want to touch on is where I place my redneck blinds. I am not a super aggressive deer hunter when it comes to intrusion into the woods. I typically try to let those either the K-Link cameras from Cuddyback or the Tacticam reveals tell me where those big deer are moving at, and I'll then isolate that area, and I try to hunt the outskirts of it and let the the entire piece of property in the central location basically kind of be a sanctuary during the season, and let those deer come out and feed, or come out the water, or come out and hit these mock scrapes, and it works out very well. The other aspect of this is how I enter and exit my redneck blinds, and this one's not fully set up, but I've got several situations, and I need to do a video specifically on that. But what I try to find is any kind of a slight elevation on here. As you guys can see, this slopes back down, and my entry and exit route in here is, as soon as I hit that second branch that's hanging out, that far one, I'll actually skirt inside the wood line and then come right up to this ladder and be able to get into the stand or the blind pretty clean. So just kind of keep that in mind of your entry, exit, the wind direction, any kind of elevation change you guys can use, ditch crossings or creek crossings, anything that you've got, water source, using the boat. And then lastly, is just, if you do have a hunting food plot or an agriculture field, try not to actually go across that thing, because there's been numerous times that I found my situation or myself in a situation where I have crossed, and this was, I learned 15-20 years ago that those deer, they'll pick up on your scent. I don't care if you got rubber boots or you don't. Those deer will pick up on that scent, and those big mature deer, as soon as they do, they're going to be busting out of there, or they're going to be on high alert. So just kind of keep all those things in mind. I appreciate you guys watching the video. Like always, hopefully you guys are getting out there in nature, and best luck on your upcoming hunt.